Shalom, Israel. Shalom, shalom. Peace and blessings to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, who I know as Yahweh, and who the world calls Jesus Christ, but I know him as Yahweh Shai. Also, shout out to the sister Mary of Bethany that anointed Yahweh Shai with the ointments before his burial. And also, shout out to our ancestors that lost their lives behind keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. They wasn't willing to compromise. They would rather die than to break God's laws. So I pray we always remember and honor them. Today is my day 7, man. All praise to the Most High. Made it to the end of my me versus me. It flew by, man. I ain't gonna even lie. It flew by real fast. Feel like just yesterday I just started this challenge for myself. But all praise to the Most High, man. I was able to drop a video every day. Rather it was me coming to you and doing a lesson, or rather it was a class we did on the main channel that I uploaded on there, or maybe it was a street teaching video that I uploaded. But I was able to upload a video every single day, man. That was the goal, man. All praise to the Most High. But yeah, man. So the class I'm gonna do to close out this little challenge. I ain't gonna say little challenge, but the video I'm gonna do to close out this challenge is the Spirit of Jonathan. So I'm watching a show called The House of David. I don't know if people may have heard of it. People may haven't heard of it, but it's on Prime. I'm watching it on Prime. Called The House of David. I actually just ended the last episode of the season 2, episode 8. I watched that today. I was watching it every Sunday because they wasn't dropping the episodes. They didn't drop the episode. Well, how I'm watching it, I don't know if they did it on other platforms, but on Prime, how I was watching it, they wasn't dropping the episode, or they didn't drop all the episodes at one time. They would just drop one every Sunday. So I watched one Sunday, then the next Sunday come out, I watch the next episode. Then the next Sunday come out, watch the next episode. So that's how I was doing it until I got to season 8. Man, I ain't wanted to end, man. I didn't want it to end, but I think they're supposed to come out with a season 3, so that's good, man. But what really, like I said, I was watching House of David, and it was just going into when episode 7 ended, when David basically, Saul asked David, was he anointed? He said, did Samuel choose you? And David said, nah. He said, no, God chose me. And you know how in the scriptures it say Saul had a javelin and he threw it at David. Right, and that's how episode 7 ended. So episode 8 was, it was going into David escaping, he hiding, and Saul gathering his men and going to look for David. But you know how the scriptures say, Jonathan and David, they had a strong relationship. So, you read about these things about their relationship, and how they made a covenant with each other, and Jonathan was looking out for David, protecting David from his dad Saul. And it's like, when you watch that show and when you watch movies, it put it in a perspective of how deep it really was. Because you can read about it in the scriptures, but it hit different when you actually seeing it playing out. And just the love that, like, it was a emotional scene for me even watching it in there, because it was like, the love that they had for each other, man, and just the emotion that the two actors did, in that scene. It was a beautiful scene. I might try to find it. Matter of fact, I might try to find that scene and just show it to you before I get into the lesson, because a lot of people don't really talk about Jonathan. Like, a lot of people don't really talk about the spirit of Jonathan. Like, Jonathan had, if you put yourself in Jonathan's shoes, I'm gonna talk more about it. I don't want to jump the gun, but if a lot of people put themselves in Jonathan's shoes, they would have did, or they would have never did what Jonathan did. If they was put in Jonathan's shoes, they would have took a complete left turn, and it would never ended, how it ended with Jonathan and David. It would have took a complete left, and I'm gonna explain why. But let me play the show for man to start the class off, and I try to find that clip of Jonathan and David from the House of David, just to show you how intense that scene was. If I hopefully I can find it. It should be out on YouTube. My bad. Con. All praise to the Most High, man, for the shofar blowing. And let me see if I can find. Let me see if I can find the clip. Oh, I said Jonathan and Saul. That scene right there tough too. I ain't gonna cap. That scene's tough. This scene tough. I really want to show that because the scriptures do say that Saul threw a javelin at Jonathan and tried to kill him. Yeah, they got these scenes on here. Yeah, they gotta have that scene I'm talking about. They got to. That's not it. That's season 1. Um, dang, hold on. They gotta have it. Well, I don't. Dang, I want to find it of that scene I'm talking about. I might not. It might not. It might not be on here, man. They keep showing this scene. Dang, I can't. Dang. How they don't got that scene on here, but they got the other scenes with him and so-called David. But I can't find it, man. Can't find it. But it was a beautiful scene, bro. I wish I could find it. Dude, how y'all don't got? Well, I don't see it, man. I ain't gonna waste too much time on it, man. But it's season 3, episode 8. If y'all want to go watch it, season 3, episode 8 is towards the end when Jonathan, the man that played Jonathan and the man that played David in the show, they parting ways and they making a covenant and things like that. They crying, they hugging, like it's intense, man. It's a beautiful scene. But let's get the scriptures, man. I can't find it. I hate I can't find it, but it's all good. I hate I can't find it. So the first scripture I'm gonna get going into Jonathan, man. Jonathan feared God. Jonathan feared God over his dad, over the rulership. He feared he was all about right and wrong. A lot of people ain't like that. A lot of people, with a lot of people, it's respect the persons. You know, they're not about right or wrong. But Jonathan was right or wrong, even when it came to his dad. A lot of people in that situation that Jonathan was in, especially knowing that David is next up, in rulership, and as long as David alive, you're not gonna get on the throne. A lot of people would have never did what Jonathan did. They would have never tried to protect the person that was next on the throne. They would try to kill David. A lot of people would try to kill David, man. But he didn't care nothing about that. God anointed somebody, he respected God. He was different than his dad Saul. But let's get it. 1 Samuel 19. It says, and Saul spake to Jonathan his son and to all his servants that they should kill David. So Saul, Saul, he hot right now, for no apparent reason. But he said, and Saul spake to Jonathan his son and to all his servants that they should kill David. So he want David head. But Jonathan, Saul's son, delighted much in David. So Jonathan had respect for David. Understand this, they bond was tight. Think about your best friend, a best friend that you have, or a brother that you real tight with, brother that you got mad respect for. He got respect for you. Y'all go, y'all got a bond, man. Y'all look out for each other. Y'all do stuff together. That's that type of bond that Jonathan had with David. It says, and Jonathan told David, saying, Saul, my father seeketh to kill thee. So Jonathan is letting David know, bro, my dad is he's doing a secret counsel. He's trying to kill you. And it's like, bro, Jonathan was a real one. What we were saying today's time, he was a real friend. He was a real one. He was the one that was real. He letting David know that his own dad. A lot of people wouldn't do that. They would just obey their dad no matter what. Well, he's family. You can't turn on blood. No, I know he wrong, but even what people saying in today's time, right or wrong, it don't matter. I'm still stepping for you, right or wrong. And it shouldn't be like that. If a person is wrong, let them know they're wrong. Tell them that they're wrong. Don't just rock with them because you like them and they related to you or they your best friend. If they wrong, tell them, rebuke them if they wrong. Jonathan was right. Right, Jonathan was down with what's right. It don't matter if it had to go against his own dad or not. Jonathan was for doing the right thing, and that's the type of friend that you want around you. That's why David respected and loved him so much. He's seen that loyalty that Jonathan had, especially that he's seen the loyalty more right now. It says, but Jonathan, Saul's son, delighted much in David. And Jonathan told David, saying, Saul, my father seeketh to kill thee. Now therefore I pray thee, take heed to thyself until the morning, abide in a secret place and hide thyself. So like I said, a lot of people wouldn't have did what Jonathan did. They would have tried to get David up off the scene. Simple. They would have tried to kill David because they seen that David was a threat to the throne. So anybody else would have set David up. Probably would have never warned David. Would have found out what David was at and told their dad, hey, listen, David over there. Go ahead and he over there. Go ahead and do what you got to do. A lot of people would have did that, but Jonathan was different, man. Right? He wasn't showing respect to persons, but he knew that his dad was bugging out. He knew that his dad was doing this, for because he understood who David was going to become. He understood these things. He was trying to stop it. He knew that. So why would you want to defend your dad when you know he bugging out? That don't make any sense. But a lot of people do that. They know a person in the wrong, but they gonna defend them. They're gonna defend them because they like them. But we can't be like that. Jonathan shows a perfect example of how we should be in this walk. Even when you have to go against someone that you truly love. I'm sure Jonathan loved his dad. I'm sure he did. But it's like, I can't let that affect the truth or justice. I can't let me loving my dad affect or blind me, and have me do something that I'm going to regret or that's against God. I can't help my dad do this mission that he want me to do, which is kill David, because that's not righteous. That's not without a cause. He's doing that for no reason. David he didn't sin. So why are we going to kill this man? What's the purpose? And Jonathan had that mindset. And it says, I would go out and stand beside my father in the field without art, and I would commune. Okay, yeah, make sure screen was sharing. He said, and I would go out and stand beside my father in the field without art, and I would commune with my father of thee. And what I see, that what I tell thee. So he trying to talk to his dad, like, you tripping, dad. Like, you're tripping. Like, think about all the stuff David did. David never gave you a reason to try to kill him. He slew the Goliath. He slew the giant for our people. He served you. He played the harp for you. You like David. So what are you doing? That's what Jonathan was doing. Jonathan was defending a dude that was next up on the throne, because Jonathan supposed to be next up on the throne, right? Saul is going to more likely give the crown to Jonathan, but David was going to be next on the throne. But Jonathan, Jonathan wasn't jealous. Jonathan didn't try to stop that. Jonathan was still protecting this man, knowing that he was going to be on the throne. I'm putting in perspective like this. Just say you had a family business, right? Just say you had a family business, and it's your dad business, and he was gonna pass it down, or normally it passed down to the children. So you expecting to take over the business once he dies, or he gets older, or he can't do it no more, and you expect to take over, right? But instead, the plans don't go like how it's supposed to. And a random dude, right? A random dude comes and takes over the business that was established. A lot of people will be like, hold up. They'll be, feel this type of way about that. So that's kind of the same way with the story we got now. Jonathan King, Saul's king. It was supposed to be, it's the house of Saul, right? So Saul supposed to stay within the house of Saul, and Saul gonna give it to Jonathan, to keep the lineage of the king of the house of Saul going. It was supposed to go to Jonathan, but it goes to another man that's not even related, no kin to the house of Saul, no kin. And it goes to another man. So a lot of people wouldn't have liked that during that time. So they would try to got David murked. But Jonathan, he still looked out for David, even though he knew that he wasn't going to be on the throne. He knew that he wasn't going to sit on the throne. He knew David was anointed. And he looked out for David. Why? Because Jonathan feared God. That's why I hated that he died, man. Everything of the Lord, man. I hate that he died. That's madness. What that is, man. It's a lie. Satan. The world is madness. All right, I'm leaving right there. The world, but that's madness. But I done lost my train of thought. That's Satan, bro. I done lost my train of thought. Where I was going. I forgot where I was going with what I was saying. That's crazy. But yeah, it'll probably come back to me. It says, he said, and Jonathan spake good of David unto Saul his father. So did Jonathan go to his dad, making his dad more mad to make his dad want to kill David even more, like a lot of people would do in that situation? Did Jonathan do that? No. I remember what I was saying. I was like, I hate that Jonathan had to die. When I first read that in the Bible, I'm like, dang, bro. Kind of hurt my heart that he died, man, because Jonathan was a real one. He what you would call a real friend, man. He had nothing but respect for David and vice versa, to the point where they made a covenant with themselves and for their seed line, man. Dang. It says, and Jonathan spake good of David unto Saul his father, and said unto him, let not the king sin against his servant, against David. So not only is Jonathan looking out for David, Saul, my bad, let me slow down. Not only is Jonathan looking out for David, Jonathan is also looking out for his dad Saul, because he's trying to keep his dad Saul out of trouble with God. Because he's saying, let not the king sin against his servant, against David, because he has not sinned against you. He tell him, like, pops, like, don't kill him. He did nothing to you. Don't you understand that you're going to be in sin for that? And the Lord can possibly kill you for killing someone that did nothing to you and that's anointed? Don't you understand that? So he's trying to he's trying to give Saul some sense, some sense, because he's not thinking clearly. That's just he got the spirit taken from him. An evil spirit of the Lord is on him. So you're like, bro, you don't need to do that. That's gonna get you in trouble with God. It says, because he have not sinned against thee, and because his works have been to thee were very good. So he's speaking positive, great about David. His works have been good. He remember what he did. He played the harp for you. Dad, when you was bugging the hell out over there, and you was kind of, David came in with the harp, and remember how good you felt. Remember that. Remember the battles that he fought for you. Remember the victory he brought to Israel. He did nothing but good. It said, for he did put his life in his hand and slew the Philistine. And the Lord wrought a great salvation for all Israel. Thou sawest it and didst rejoice. So he like, Dad, now you remember, you seen it. You seen what he did and you was happy. Remember how happy you felt. Remember that feeling of you seeing him do that and how happy you felt and how much love you gained for him. And remember, you was proud of him because you seen yourself in him. You looked at him as a son. Remember that. That's what Jonathan telling them, basically. He said, thou sawest it and didst rejoice. Wherefore, then without sin against innocent blood to slay David without a cause. So he's like, now you gonna try to slay innocent blood without a cause, kill him without a cause, for no reason at all? And Saul hearkened unto the voice of Jonathan, and Saul sware, as the Lord liveth, he shall not be slain. So, that's why it's good to be able to know how to talk and know how to handle situations, because Jonathan, he knew the exact words to say to his father Saul. He knew what to say. He knew how to make him feel in that moment. And Saul snapped out of it for that split second. He was like, hey, you right, son. You right. I ain't gonna kill him. I swear I ain't gonna kill him. That's what I want to stop at. Yeah, ain't gonna get too much. I'm gonna get this last one right here. It says, and Jonathan called David, and Jonathan showed him all those things. And Jonathan brought David to Saul, and he was in his presence at his times past. So, Jonathan brought David back to Saul because he thinking, okay, everything cool now, everything's settled. You can come back. You can come back now. But we know when you keep reading, it wasn't okay. It wasn't settled. So. But let me get this scripture right here. Let me get 1 Samuel 18. 1 Samuel 18, I'm going to start at 1. It says, and it came to pass when he had made an end of speaking unto Saul that the soul of Jonathan was knit with the soul of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own soul. So Jonathan loved David as his own soul. Like he had so much respect and love for David, man. It was like, like you have friends like that. Oh, bro, I die for bro. Anything you need me to do, bro, I got you. Wait, hold up. Who robbed you? They did what? Oh, let's go. Oh, I'm the only person that can say something to you. If I hear anybody else say something about you, oh no, that's a problem. That's that type of love that David and Jonathan had. No, it wasn't on no homosexual stuff like how some people try to make it, how they try to portray David and Jonathan's, when this Bible said they loved each other deeply. People like to try to paint that as, oh, they was homosexuals. No, they was not. Because he loved them as his own kin. It's a scripture that said it. I'm probably going to pull it in a minute. That he loved them as his own kin. Right? And it says, and Saul took him that day and would let him go no more home to his father's house. Then Jonathan and David made a covenant because he loved him as his own soul. And Jonathan stripped himself of the robe that was upon him, and that just because he stripped the robe, he had something on under the robe. He wasn't naked. He gave him his robe and he had no clothes on. No, he had something on under the robe. These men, these were righteous men. You know what I'm saying? These were men that feared the Lord. So there wasn't no homosexual stuff going on, man. That's crazy. It says, and Jonathan stripped himself of the robe that was upon him and gave it to David, and his garments, even to his sword, and to his bow, and to his girdle. So he gave that. He basically he pulled a on Gridiron Gang, that scene. It's the opening, part of the opening scene when them boys did that drive-by shooting them on Willie Weathers and his cousin. Before that happened, bruh said, we naked out here, CeeLo. I think what his name was. We naked out here, CeeLo. He like, here, you ain't naked no more. He gave him a gun. So it's like, that's basically what Jonathan doing to David. Like, bruh, you need something out here, bruh. You naked out here. So here, take my sword, take my bow, so you can have something, defend yourself and kill animals with. And take my girdle. Take my girdle, man. You gotta get ready to fight. You can't be naked out here, bruh. So that's basically what Jonathan was doing for David, man. It says, and David went out with it, so ever Saul sent him. And that's the things all I had right there. Of Jonathan. Yeah, that's all I had. Okay. Let me get this last scripture. Let's get 1 Samuel 20. 1 Samuel 20 and verse 27. It says, and it came to pass on the morrow, which was the second day of the month, that David's place was empty. So this is for the new moon. Because the new moon was when they linked up and they feasted. Right? It was a get together. It's a tradition that our people did. When it's a new moon, meaning new month, they would come together, and feast and eat to celebrate the new month. And it says, and it came to pass on the morrow, which was the second day of the month, David's place was empty. And Saul said unto Jonathan his son, wherefore coming not the son of Jesse? Let me start up something. Matter of fact, Matter of fact. Matter of fact, let me start at 20. Now I may jump down. It says, and David fled from Naoth to in Ramah and came and said before Jonathan, what have I done? What is my iniquity and what is my sin before thy father? And he seeketh my life. And he said unto him, God forbid, thou shalt not die. Behold, my father will do nothing, either great or small, but that he will show it me. And why should my father hide this thing from me? It is not so. And David swore moreover and said, thy father certainly knoweth I have found grace in thy eyes. And he said, let not Jonathan know this, lest he be grieved. But truly as the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, there is but a step between me and death. Then said Jonathan unto David, whatsoever thy soul desireth, I will even do it for thee. So Jonathan, man, Jonathan is a real one, bro. Jonathan should be talked about more. I feel like Jonathan should be talked about more. I feel like he's not really talked about because he's Saul's son, and Saul mainly more talked about, and David, as well. But I feel like Jonathan need to be talked about more too, man. Jonathan was a real one. Jonathan was one of the main people that actually looked out for David, for real. Like, he was one of the real ones that was willing to lay his life down for David. Was really anything you need, bro. Let me know. Anything you need some food, need a place to go. Like, let me know. Let me know whatever you need. He said, whatever thy soul desires, I will even do it for you. I'll make sure you got it, bro. I know you. This is Jonathan, man. It says, and David said unto Jonathan, behold, tomorrow is the new moon, and I should not fail to sit with the king at meat, but let me go that I may hide myself in the field until the third day at evening. And if thy father at all miss me, then say, David earnestly asked leave of me that he might run to Bethlehem, his city, for there is a yearly sacrifice there for all the family. If he say, thus it is well, thy servant shall have peace, but if he be wroth, then be sure that evil is determined by thee. Therefore thou shalt deal kindly with thy servant, for thou hast brought thy servant into a covenant of the Lord with thee. Notwithstanding, if there be iniquity, slay me thyself, for why should thou bring me to thy father? And Jonathan said, far be it from me, for if I knew certainly that evil were determined by my father to come upon thee, then would not I tell it thee? Jonathan, like, bro, if I found out that what my dad planned to do, if I find out the plan, who doing it, what time they doing it, what day they doing it, don't you know I would tell you? Wouldn't I tell you? So Jonathan, like, bro, I can't say this enough. Jonathan is a real one. Jonathan was a real one. He's going against his dad right now. He's going against the king right now for David. He's going against his whole house. He's going against his whole house. Right? For a shepherd boy that played a harp. Understand what he looking out, man. He looking out. He making that sacrifice. Right? He making that sacrifice, man. Can't ask for no friend better than that. Then said David to Jonathan, who shall tell me, or what if thy father answered thee roughly? And Jonathan said unto David, come and let us go into the field. That they went out both of them in the field. And Jonathan said unto David, O Lord God of Israel, when I have sounded my father about tomorrow any time or the third day, and behold, if there be good towards David, and I then send not unto thee and show it thee, the Lord do so much more to Jonathan. But if it please my father to do the evil, then I will show it thee and send thee away that thou mayest go in peace, and the Lord be with thee as he have been with my father. And thou shalt not only while yet I live show me the kindness of the Lord that I die not. But also thou shalt not cut off the kindness from my house forever. Hold on. Let me go back. Verse 13. The Lord do so and much more to Jonathan. But if it please my father to do the evil, then will I show it thee. and send thee away that thou mayest go in peace, and the Lord be with thee as he hath been with my father. And thou shalt not only while yet I live show me the kindness of the Lord, that I die not, but also thou shalt not cut off thy kindness from my house forever. No, not when the Lord hath cut off the enemies of David, everyone from the face of the earth. So they made a covenant. He made a covenant with the house of David, saying, let the Lord even acquire it at the hand of David's enemies. And Jonathan caused David to swear again because he loved him, for he loved him as he loved his own soul. Then Jonathan said to David, tomorrow is a new moon, thou shalt be missed, because thy seat will be empty. So they made a covenant. You know what I'm saying? They made a covenant. You know, and when you keep reading, I'm gonna keep going. I think this is the chapter I want more on. We jump down. It says, and it came to pass, verse 27, and it came to pass on the morrow, which was the second day of the month, that David's place was empty. And Saul said unto Jonathan, his son, wherefore cometh not the son of Jesse to meet, neither yesterday nor today? It says, and Jonathan answered Saul, David earnestly asked leave of me to go to Bethlehem. So he doing what David told him. He's saying what David told him to say. And he's saying, he said, let me go, I pray thee, for our family hath a sacrifice in the city, and my brother, he hath commanded me to be there. And now if I have found favor in thy eyes, let me get away, I pray thee, and see my brother. Therefore he cometh not unto the king's table. Then Saul's anger was kindled against Jonathan, and he said unto him, thou son of the perverse rebellious woman, do not I know that thou hast chosen the son of Jesse to thy own confusion, and to the confusion of thy mother's nakedness? So Saul basically understood the relationship that Jonathan and David had. He knew that. So he knew Jonathan was trying to cover for him. Verse 31, for as long as the son of Jesse liveth upon the ground, thou shalt not be established, nor thy kingdom. So Saul telling him, as long as David, the son of Jesse, live, you're not going to be king. You're not going to rule this kingdom. He said, wherefore now send and fetch him unto me, for he shall surely die. So, Saul telling Jonathan, go bring him to me so he can die, so you can be on the throne next. Verse 32, and Jonathan answered Saul his father and said unto him, wherefore shall he be slain? What has he done? Man, Jonathan, like, bro, the heck what you talking about? Jonathan saying, the heck, I hear what you saying. I understand that if he lives, I'm not gonna be on the throne. I understand that. So Saul is telling him this, and Jonathan still saying, well, what did he do wrong though? So he's not he don't care about that throne. It's injustice going on right now, and that's what he cares about. He can care less about that throne. But he's thinking about you trying to kill an innocent man that did nothing. It says, and Saul cast a javelin at him to smite him, whereby Jonathan knew that it was determined of his father's slave David. So Jonathan arose from the table in fierce anger and did eat no meat the second day of the month, but he was grieved for David because his father had done him shame. So what was it? So Saul tried to kill his own son. He got so mad at Jonathan for defending David, he tried to kill him. And Jonathan was embarrassed. Jonathan was embarrassed to basically be Saul's son because how Saul was acting. He was shamed. He didn't want to be looked at like how Saul was having him looked at. How everybody was looking at him. And saying it came to pass in the morning that Jonathan went out into the field at the time appointed with David and a little lad with him. And he said unto his lad, run, find out now the arrows which I shoot. And as the lad ran, he shot an arrow beyond him. And when the lad was come to the place of the arrow which Jonathan had shot, Jonathan cried after the lad and said, is not the arrow beyond thee? And Jonathan cried after the lad, make speed, haste, stay not. And Jonathan lad gathered up the arrows and came to his master. But the lad knew not anything, only Jonathan and David knew the matter. And Jonathan gave his artillery unto his lad and said unto him, Go carry them into the city. And as soon as the lad was gone, Jonathan arose out of the place towards the south and fell on his face to the ground and bowed himself 3 times. And they kissed one another. So he bowed. Look. Oh my goodness. Jonathan, the person that's supposed to be on the throne next. He's the son of the king. He sees David. Hold up. My bad. My bad. I read that wrong. My bad. It says, and as soon as the lad was gone, David arose out of the place towards the south and fell on his face to the ground. So David fell on his face towards the ground. A lot of emotion going on. He probably scared. I know he's scared, sad, crying. He fell to the ground like, dang, in weakness. And bowed himself 3 times. He bowed himself 3 times, right? He bowed 3 times. Real on the ground, like them bows. Ain't talking about no bow like this. He was on the ground, man. And kiss one another. Now, I'm not talking about kiss one another like on the lips. It's a royal kiss when you watch those older movies, when a sign of when you respect somebody, they kiss you on the forehead. One of those type kisses, or they do it on the cheek sometimes as well too. Just a sign of respect and love for a person. But nowadays they look at it, we've been so westernized, they look at it weird, when men do that, kiss another man on the forehead. It's looked that weird now, especially in America. But some other countries, they still greet people like that. A person that they truly deeply care for and love and respect, they'll do it. And I know I seen it on the movie Colombiana. In the beginning of the movie, when the dude had kissed the other dude on the cheek, on the forehead. I think it was the forehead or both of the. It was the forehead, I think. As a sign of respect, because he looked at him like a son. So it's just a respect thing that our people used to do a lot. It says, and one with another until David succeeded. So they crying with each other. That's why I want to find that scene from the house of David, because they portrayed that scene like it was perfect. It brought this script to the life when they was crying together, man. And it says, and Jonathan said to David, Go in peace, for as much as we have sworn both of us in the name of the Lord, saying, the Lord be between me and thee, and between my seed and thy seed forever. So they made a covenant forever, including down to their children. And he arose and departed, and Jonathan went into the city, man. So all praise to the Most High, man. Jonathan was a real one, right? Jonathan was a real one, man. He was willing to go against his dad, not just for David, but for what's right. So I think we definitely need to talk about Jonathan more, man. When we talk about all the different other people in the Bible, I think we always got to mention Jonathan and type of, especially when you talk about loyalty and respect. I think Jonathan got to be mentioned, man, because he definitely was a real brother, man. He was a stand-up guy. He was a stand-up guy, and he probably would be, I don't know if he's gonna be, in the kingdom of heaven. I'm not here to say that, but if I could talk to a person, he probably would be in my top 5. For if I could talk to anybody that was in the Bible, Jonathan probably would be in my top 5 of people that I want to sit down and talk with, ask questions, talk about this event that, what was going on, what was going through your head when your dad was bugging out, when you was defending David, and, I would want to talk to Jonathan. I would want to chill with Jonathan. I would want Jonathan in my circle, But all praise to the Most High, man. This is my Me versus Me Day 7 final. Lord willing, I can challenge myself some more and come up with some more lessons to push myself, man. I'm thankful that the Most High put on my spirit to be able to do this. It was a challenge. It was definitely a challenge, especially when they got kind of late and you really didn't want to do nothing. You really didn't have no lesson planned. But that's where discipline come in, and you just pushing yourself, and you gotta do it even when you're tired. You gotta do it, when you don't want to, when your flesh don't want to, but you gotta push through because you said that you was gonna do something, so you gotta do it, right? So all praise to the Most High, man. This brother Obadiah with the hopeful elect. Want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh by Shimmy Hawashai. I say peace and blessings to the 12. I say shalom, man. All praise to the Most High.